Hello everyone, Lid here. So I've been trying to work on my synthesized helmet. I trying to reroll the implicit, so I will need a lot of vivid vulture. And I was thinking to myself, like, why not trying to farm it yourself and see how it goes? Maybe that farm can be profitable. So that's what this video will be. And before we go into the setup, if you like the content, if this content is helpful, consider like and subscribe. That will help the channel a lot. And with that said, let's move into the setup. For the map, I'm using Strand because it's a one long line and that's help with spreading the bees. So it's easier to spot. But sometimes you will still get 4 to 5 red bees clumped together, and in that case I usually just kill all of them and see what I got, which I will explain a little bit. And for the map itself, there's no need to chisel or roll. You can just run it wide, and this is because bees doesn't scale with quantity or anything like that. The important note is you need at least T14, because there are some bees that are not appear on lower tier, such as Vulture, which is my main target today, and Black Morricans. That's two bees that I know cannot spawn if you go below T14. And in this case, I'm using T6 and Strand. And for the Scarab, I'm using 2 bestiary Scarabs of Hurt. This will add additional red bees. And I will use 1 bestiary Scarabs of Duplication. This will make a copy of the piece that you capture on the maps. And the last one, I'm using Nico, so it's a Sulfide Scarabs, and this is optional. For me, it's just I'm trying to farm the Azurite so I can buy some Resonator, which I will use later on. So for the Atlas tree, this is the Atlas tree that I'm using. I do have another Atlas tree over here. This is including Heist. Heist is also one thing that you can add into the maps, because something like Heist, Nico, it doesn't add more times, and it's very easy to do. It's very simple, so this can be at extra little profit. But I kind of get confused on pricing the blueprint and contract. The price range seems to be quite wide, so I just decided to not include it on the calculation. So if you want to include Heist, if you know how to sell them, this is the other trade that I'm going to use. But if you're not, this is the other that I'm going to recommend. And I do take map notes. This is basically just a desperate attempt, try to get the maps back. Most of the time you will own. So if you don't have a lot of white map, you probably have to buy some. I also take some shrine, the same thing, extra density. If you get something like Haste shrine, that will speed up things a little bit. And I do take this 3 note over here, which especially make the map post can drop like a Conquer, Synthesize, or Elder maps. This one is also not mandatory. It's really not that important. I'm taking all the beast node over here. This one will make your yellow piece have a 15% chance to be replaced with red piece, and in this one we do want as much red piece as possible. And I'm also taking red altars because we do not have any quantity or anything like that, so the tile reward from the red altar will be pretty nice, even though in this test I'm not including any currency drops. And the important note is this wheel over here. This one is to make the red pieces less common, so this one is a no-brainer to take. But there's a choice for this one. I'm using this node over here. This will increase my chance to get a red piece from the Sand family. And this is because I'm looking for Vivid Vulture, and Vivid Vulture is on the Sand family. And if you're looking for the wilds is something like Black Morricans, Wild Hellion Alpha, Wild Bramblejack, Wild Beaster Matrons. All of them will from the wild. It's not as expensive as Vivid Vulture, but the wild I think is also pretty profitable because there's a lot of target. For this one is for the Deep family. The Deep family is Cracky Cameral and also Vivid Watcher. That's I think the 2 target from the Deep. So it's really depending on which beast you want to focus on. You probably can try to take like 3 of them, but it's kind of defeating the point, because this point is to make you able to focus on certain families. So, and I want to talk a little bit on how to run the maps. So the way I do it, I will go inside the maps and I will open the bestiary tabs. I think the default shortcut is H. And then I will go for the search bar and I will click something randoms. This will make the list become clear. I mean, visually, you still have the beast. It's just visually it doesn't show anything. And every time you kill a beast on that maps, you will be able to see which beast you get. And this can be really helpful tools to see like if you kill a bunch of red beasts, and you can see like which one is which. So this is what I usually do. And if I got like the wrong red beast, I will just release it. You can use control click on the release X button on the beast and it will release a beast. And I'm also not killing all the red beasts. This is because if you kill all the beasts, you will fill your menagerie way too fast, because menagerie have a maximum number of beasts you can store. If you hit the maximum number, it will start replacing the beast inside there, and you do not want the good beast to be replaced by the new piece. So if the menagerie is full, you have to release everything, basically clean up the menagerie. So I will look for a very specific piece. And the first one is vivid vulture. This is my main target of these farms, and this is especially a bird, but you can see it has some sort of scale on the back, and it's also pretty big, so this one is pretty easy to spot. And the next one will be Black Morrigans. This is the beast from Afflictions. If you play any Affliction League, you will very familiar with this beast, and this beast is very unique. I don't think there's any beast that similar to this, so this one is pretty easy to spot. And the next one will be Vivid Watcher. This is a squid-like one. This one for me is a little bit harder to spot because it's very similar to normal squid. But I think this one, it does glow yellow-green and it do have like more tentacle and stuff. And for the next one is Wild Beaster Matrons. This is a bear with a spike on the back. This is a common theme for the Wilds family. The next one will be Wild Hellion Alpha. This will be like a horse or hound. For me, this looks like horse with a spike on the back. And the next one is Wild Brambit Jack. This one is ape, but with a spike on the back. Like I said, the spike on the back is theme on the wild family. And then the next one will be Phenomenal Plague Arachnid. This is a spider. This one is very easy to spot. If you see a spider with a glowing dot on the butt, this is Phenomenal Plague Arachnids, and you will see this quite often. So for the last one is Cracker Chimeral. This is like a frog-like beast, something like that. And this one is the hardest one to spot, at least for me. I still have a trouble spotting it until now. So I think for this one, you will have to pay more attentions, and this Cracker Chimera is 1 div each, so you really do not want to miss on this one. And that's all the beasts that I'm looking for. If I do not see that beast, I will just move on the maps, and at the end I will kill the boss and I'll get out from the maps and open another map. So generally speaking, the maps is really fast. I think mine is like 1 minute to 1.5 minutes. I think you can go sub 1 minute if you already get used to spotting all the beasts. So this is the result from my farming. This is the first test that I did. But then because I'm stupid, I forget to put my screenshot over here. So I just decided to do another hundreds with more refined atlas, and this is the one that I will recommend if you guys want to do this strategy. I will delete this probably after this, but I just want to use this as a reference point and see if I improve in terms of like the result. Let's focus on this one. The cost is really cheap. So in 100 maps, the cost is like 7.35 divine, so it's really cheap to start. And this is all the thing that I will calculate inside the profit. I do get something like Fortress maps or Faldo or like some random divine, but I think that stuff is pretty rare to see, so I will not include them on the calculations. And on this one, on the Azuret part, I got like 86. This worth quite a bit, not too crazy, but it's an extra income. Plus it's also to not add any time on the map, so why not? For the yellow piece, you will require some work to do. So for you to be able to sell this yellow piece, you will need bestiary orbs, and you basically will click the bestiary orbs, put the yellow piece inside the orbs, then put the orbs back into your inventory. You can drop it on the floor like me. The point is there will be a lot of clicking, and this can be very tedious. So it's really up to you whether you want to do it or not, and this is the reason why I have 2 tabs over here. One with yellow piece and one is without yellow piece. And the one with yellow piece, on the profit I'm already including the cost for the yellow piece. So this one is 810 yellow piece, and this means I have to spend 810 chaos because one bestiary orb is cost 1 chaos, and that's already calculated inside the profit, so you don't have to worry about that one. And as you can see over here, the yellow piece actually quite a lot. It's almost like 1.5 tabs. I think in my first session I do kill a lot more yellow piece, and this is because I'm not getting used to spotting things yet, so I'm kind of kill everything on the way, and then in result me getting more yellow piece. On the second one, I think I already get used to it. I can go through the map a lot faster. If I don't need to kill the piece, I will not kill the piece. And most of the yellow piece here is dying because I'm an RF build. If the yellow piece is inside the RF, they will die pretty fast. So for the yellow piece, the net profit is 72 divine, and this is pretty good, I will say. This is like 0.7 divine with a map that only takes like 1 minute to 1.5 minutes. I think you can even go to sub 1 minute, so the result is pretty good. And if we want to calculate like the define per hours, I think it takes me 2 hours to finish the 100 maps, and I do make a note over here. It takes me around 40 minutes to get all the yellow piece out of menagerie, because that will take time too. So let's say like it takes me 3 hours to do all that stuff. If we take this value and divide it by 3 hours, it's still 24 defense per hour. It's a pretty good currency making. And if I do not want to do any of the yellow piece, it's basically like 2 hours to do all that stuff, and this is like 25 div per hour. So whether you want to do the yellow piece or not, I don't think that matters that much. It's just a matter of like, do you want to clean your menagerie or not? Because at some point your menagerie gonna need to get full, and most of them will be yellow piece. So at some point you have to clean up your menagerie anyway. So yeah, the strategy is surprisingly good. I'm actually surprised it does make this much currency, because remember, this is T16, number one. Number second, this is a very low budget strat. You do not need a lot of things to start, and all the scrap that you use is very cheap. And the last one, the difficulty is actually not that hard, because you're running white maps. So red piece in white map at this point of the league, I don't think it will be that hard to do. So yeah, this is a surprisingly pretty good farms. The currency is actually pretty good. You just have to get used on spotting the beast. That part can be a little bit annoying, but after doing it for a while, I think I do like 200-300 maps with it. It's actually not that complicated. So I really recommend you guys trying it. I think this is a pretty good strat. I think that's it about today's video. And thank you everyone for watching. I really appreciate it. And as usual, if you guys have any questions, leave it in the comment below. I will try my best to answer it. And I will see you in the next one.